Welcome to the Random Files. We have a whopping 4 people in here right now. Let's see what happens. Some people would be dismayed by that. They would be like, it's our first episode. We only got 4. It's not our first episode though. There's other stuff on this channel. So we were sitting here in the studio and we just finished doing the Patreon for Paranormal Roundtable. And if you know me, you know me. You know me from from PRT. Well, shoot. So we just got done on the Patreon, and I just thought we would do a little test run and see what we could do, see who we got to come in and join us tonight. And I don't know how this is going to work. We may actually do these at late at night, overnight, or we may just decide to do them in the afternoon before. I'm thinking about doing these maybe after the show, like maybe like an after hours after PRT, that we can talk about real, like this not just it's not just paranormal. So we may talk about a little bit of paranormal because everything really is paranormal, right? But we're going to talk about other things too. And tonight we don't really have a topic, but I made a joke during the Patreon tonight. And if you've been watching the Patreon with Paranormal Roundtable, then you know it's Bigfoot and the nature of reality. And so I made a little joke about, excuses that people have given me because we own a security company and it's a family owned business. And I'm going back and forth with James Bartley here because we're getting ready to record either tomorrow or Thursday. Hang on one second. So he wants to record tomorrow night. Okay, we could do that right after the show. So the Random Files, I was going to do all kinds of different stuff with the Random Files. And one of the things I wanted to do with the Random Files is, first of all, we got to grow the audience. And it's going to, of course, going to spin off of Paranormal Roundtable. But we're going to get other people here that are going to come and go, what is this? What's going on? What's going on is we talk about Paranormal Roundtable as the real reality, right? Well, this is part of the real reality. And there's going to be things that we're going to talk about that aren't going to be necessarily just paranormal, weird, whatever. It'll be weird, but it's not going to necessarily just be paranormal. So me and Anthony were thinking about doing a series of discussions and I don't know what you would call it, like lectures or whatever about the economy, geopolitics. And so tonight is just kind of open forum, whatever you want to talk about. Do you want to hear a history lesson? Do you want to hear science? You know, this channel is just here. It's just kind of sitting here. It's not really doing anything. We've put music on it from Paranormal Sound Table, and Nellie created this channel to do some different things, but then she went another direction and she decided to do Dead Zone transmissions. She's been knocking it out of the park with that, and everybody loves it. So she's got that, and she's got Paranormal Sound Table. So we were like, you know what? Let us use let us use Random Files for random files for different things. So here we are. That's why we're here tonight. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I know my really good friend, and I consider my brother, Abe Seas, goes on late at night, and I don't want to steal anybody. But I had to see how this would work and see if this would be something that we could do. Um, and Yeah, I just want to, I don't know when we're going to go on and when we're not. All right. But for right now, this is what we're doing. Let me see if I can get some people in here. This will be interesting. So you guys can watch me go live on Paranormal Roundtable, right? Let me get this. Let me do a live stream real quick here. Let's see if we can get a bigger chat going. And it is late. But Paranormal Roundtable, we could go live at 3 in the morning and get 300 people. It doesn't matter. On the live here. Let's see. So I'm here, Paranormal Roundtable. I'm in the studio, and we just did the Patreon. And if you know, you know. But I was just joking about doing a show about my job and the excuses that people make working in security. And so I just decided that I was going to do a live stream on the Random Files and just kind of kick it off and get started. It's something we're going to be doing regularly here in March. So for you guys on the Random Files, I'm live. So we're live here, right? Let me see if I got myself on the camera here. There I am. Look at that. Isn't that weird? Multiple dimensional wolf there. So there we go. So we went live on the Random File. So if you're watching this and you're on PRT and you just saw, hey, why did Wolf pop up doing a live? There's 20 people right there. That's more than we got on the Random Files right now. So if you're watching this, go to the Random Files. Now there's a few different channels named Random Files, but they're not that big. So you might have to navigate through, but you'll find us. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff tonight. And just navigate through it, and eventually we will be the biggest channel called the Random Files, and you won't have to worry about that. So if you're on PRT and you're watching us, we are live. There's me right there, live. And so just come on, and yeah, so we got Jody Vargas, Cedar Lake, yeah, everybody. Just go to the Random Files and enjoy the show. We're getting started tonight right now. I just said, you know what, let's just do it now, right now. I have some time right now because work is so freaking slow. That good for you. You get more stuff out of me, but I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do. Eventually, I'm going to have to go and do a bunch of work to try to catch up, and so we may have to go, not do as many shows. So pray that we get more work, and that it will pick up, and that there'll be a balance, so I can keep doing what I'm doing with work and the show. Because otherwise, I'm going to take time away from these shows. But tonight, I'm all yours. So here we go. I'm going to let you guys go. Head over to the Random Files. We appreciate it. We love you. Thank you, PRT. We'll see you. I'll meet you over there. So I just did a live stream telling everybody at PRT to come over here. So let's see if we can get some people in the chat. And then we can start talking about some stuff. So tonight, what I want to do on the Random Files, and this is totally okay with me. I don't care. You guys can ask questions and ask a question. How about this, Anthony? Y'all can ask a question about any subject in the world or in the universe, whatever. And let's just see if my brain is big enough to handle the discussion. And let's see if me and Anthony can get into it. And let's talk about it. All right. Let's see if I can get into the Random Files here myself. There it is, right there. So shooting from the hip here. We just decided to do what we always do, is just shoot from the hip on these live streams. There's usually a topic we have of discussion. So I kind of thought about it tomorrow. I need to get back into Justin's encounters that was going on with the dog man. It was definitely like some sort of evil spirit that was attacking their family. That's what's going to happen tomorrow night on Paranormal Roundtable. But tonight, right now, we're doing Random Files. So if anybody wants to talk, we got people saying stuff like quantum entanglement. That's a good subject. And Ona, she knows. She's like, I'm going to throw them a curveball. Here we go. Quantum entanglement and the Mandela effect. But what do we got here? We got people asking about gold and silver. JFA is like, I almost left. I was on PRT. Jody Vargas says, what Random Files are we talking about? Well, whatever you want to talk about, Jody. You guys are all paratroopers. We just did the Patreon or whatever, and I was talking some smack on there, some smackola. I always do. And so I just said, you know what? We can just go to the Random Files and talk about this. What I was going to talk about, and maybe not tonight, if you guys want to do something else, we can do something else. But I was going to talk about my job. And I was going to tell you about some of the crazy damn bullcrap that people come up with about not going to work. I'm just going to do a comedy show, I had somebody snarky the other day tell me, I watched your show and half of it was just jokes. And I said, sir, it's all about jokes. The whole thing is a big joke. I was literally only talking to you. Everyone else in the chat is a bot. and you were the only living human being, and I was playing just to you. Boy, this guy, his head nearly exploded. He's like, "What?" I think he thought I was being serious. I said, "Dude, yeah, you were the only human being that was there. This is an experiment. I'm doing this for the government." This dude became a conspiracy theorist real quick. He's like, "Ah, I knew it all along. There was some weird something about you and your show. Bunch of weird stuff about werewolves and stuff." He kept saying "and stuff." He's typing this "and stuff," talking about vampires and stuff and werewolves and stuff. I said, "There's no stuff. It's just that." And we're gonna take the stuff. We're gonna put it on random files. Letting some people get in here real quick, folks. All right, now we have one extra person. Let's get started. You guys know me. You know I like to play around. I joke around. And I could be cynical. I did that one time. You know, I know. But we got John Sablon in here. John Sablon asked a question one day. We were talking about Mother Teresa, and he was like, "Really? Where's the proof in this about Mother Teresa?" Did you ever go back, John, and look it up and check it out? Because there is a ton of information about how she was actually not a good person. But I don't want to be one to spread rumors, man. I just was like, hey, you do what you got to do. John's been around a long time, and if you believe it, you believe. If you don't, you don't. Does anybody want to talk about anything at all? Just let me know because I can give you what do you want to know about what about the war? You want to talk about the economy? What's going on? You want to talk about geopolitics? You want a history lesson? You want to talk about science? Tell me what you want to do. Somebody give me a subject here. Let's get going. And if people want to do it, let's do it. Yeah, Dick Richards says it right there. Teresa trafficked kids. Not what you want to hear. I know, you know. Um, yeah, exactly, John. Yeah. So it's crazy. GFA says remote viewing. We're talking about that on the show. Was that Sun? That was Monday's show, because Sunday ended up being the call-in show, and Monday ended up being the opposite. So we ended up, but on Monday we talked about kind of like remote viewing, but it was more about it wasn't really remote viewing. It was more about um, a guy that was going out of his body and was seeing these entities, and he ended up with this entity that was being hunted by the Anubises. I know it sounds absolutely crazy, and if you're new to this channel, which you're probably not, you're probably going like, "What is this goopy stuff?" That's what we call on PRT the real reality. That's Paranormal Roundtable. Go check us out. Paranormal Roundtable. Somebody throw the link up there if we have any wrenches on here. The Dalai Lama, yeah, but you know the Dalai Lama was seen kissing the wall. He did. He was over there kissing the wall. Imagine that. So everybody's like, "Oh, this is a good holy man." Is he really? Because he's mentioned in the files like 169 times. Yeah, it's crazy. And everybody's always asking me the questions. Like they always tell me this, and when we're at Paranormal Roundtable, and they're just like, "Well, how many people are in those files? Like, how many? Dude, you sift through them. There's 3 million files, and they're right there. The Department of Justice, the DOJ released them. And why would they release them, right? Because a lot of these people don't feel like they're going to be punished for anything. And let me ask you, the audience, do you think that they're going to be punished? And why is the world the way it is? People always ask that question: Who's responsible for all of this? Why is the world in the way that it is? I told a story on the Patreon earlier about a kid. He was a white kid, right? Who was riding his skateboard through my property, and I had to go and sit a post for a couple of hours, a place called Renly. And I don't have that post anymore. I'm done with it. The construction company we work for was finished with that. We did 22 projects with them. And we were done. And it was so, but a couple weeks before it ended, Scorpio was on his way. He was at his mom's or something like that. And I had to go sit it for a couple of hours, and there was a security guard that worked there for the apartment complex, right? They're not a part of us. We're not part of them. And I was working for the construction company. And we had a couple more weeks, but the complex was done with they passed their inspections, right? I had to do the parking garage because they had not finished with the inspections there, and so it was basically empty. They couldn't park in the parking garage yet because it wasn't ready. There was only the bottom floor. They could do the bottom, they couldn't go up. But this kid came up on a skateboard, and I was up talking to my wife on the phone. I was, like, on the 2nd floor and just telling her, "Hey, just what do you want for dinner? I'll bring something home. I have to be here for another hour, and then I'll be home," you know? And, it was, like, October or September, so it was still hot 'cause and it was hot in October this year in Texas last couple years. And so I hear somebody whistle, I look down, and it's a security guard. He's downstairs, and he's a black guy. He's a 62-year-old guy. He's an Army vet named John, and he tells me, "Hey," he's like, "You got a guy that went up there on a skateboard." So I went and I got this kid, and I got him back down, and he just messed with me all the way down, and I followed him down. Long story short, I talked about it on the Patreon. He ended up being a little turd and trying to, like, get this black security guard against me because I'm the evil honky, right? That's oppressing the world. And I'm just sitting there looking at this kid, and I'm actually half Hispanic and native, but I don't give a shit. I don't He didn't need to know this, and I don't care. And I'm just, like, sitting there like, "Yeah, okay, dude." And I had talked to this guard. He was a pretty cool guy. Got to know him a little bit, you know? And, we had a lot in common. And this guy is just sitting there trying to stir up shit. So while I'm arguing with this kid, John goes to the porta john, no pun intended, and he goes in there and he calls the police. He comes back out, and then I'm at my truck. I said, "Go ahead, kid, do what you want." I went and sat in my truck. John tells me, "I called the police. They'll be here." So he goes and sits in his car. We just let him be a dick and keep chipping the concrete with his skateboard. And then here comes the police, and this is a Hispanic cop, and he gets out, and this kid decides he wants to tell this guy, take a stand and be like, "Yeah, you're a Mexican and you're black, and he's the enemy," pointing at me. I'm like, "I'm the enemy?" This is an absolute white kid. This is not a Hispanic kid that looks white. No, he's a white kid. Got a hoodie on, and I told the police officer, I said he matches a description that we had on the cameras, and it was their company, the other company who told him this guy looks like somebody who spray painted a couple weeks ago, and it was right when they started his company, whatever. And because they started about a month, no, about a month and a half before we were gone, so we worked with them for about 6 weeks, maybe even longer, maybe 2 months. So it was a couple weeks before that, and he looked like he was wearing the hoodie, so they couldn't really see because he was wearing the mask and he had a hoodie, but built like him on a skateboard, same everything. And this police officer asked him, he says, "Did you do that?" And he goes, "I don't gotta answer no questions. I don't gotta do shit, blah, blah, blah." Well, there's a thing here in Texas called a CTN, a criminal trespass notification. And once you're issued that by a police officer, if you return, it could be a felony on you for returning, unless it's like you can prove that it was some sort of accidental whatever. But you're still going to get arrested and have to go to court. It's a big hassle. So it's in your best interest not to do that, not to get one of these. Ultimately, the kid rides off on his skateboard and everything could have been okay. But then he turns around and does the middle finger salute to the policeman, tells him, "F you, you pig, you dumb effer, blah, blah, blah." Kid gets arrested. I take his skateboard and throw it in the trash. So the point is, this is where our society is at. This is where we are as a society. We have people who are literally doing this dumb shit stuff, right? And you're sitting here going like, "I don't wanna be a part of this, but I have to because I live in this community." And there are people like this kid who really think that the world is round and the way that they think that the world is the way that they think it is. And that there's some sort of cruel oppression going on from, "Oh, Whitey. That he's over here oppressing them." And then people have asked me this too, like, why are these people the way they are? Why do they think the way they do? Hold on one second. So, anyways, why do they think why? How do you say it? Why do they think the way that they do? Why is our youth the way that they are? Some people have asked this question and they don't know what to say. They don't understand that there have been decades and decades and decades of brainwash that has come from television, from the movies, from the video games, from everything. It's all skewed toward a socialist leftist slant. So by the same token, that is part of what's going on right now in Iran. And you're going like, "What? How does that work? How is it connected?" So before I get further into this, and this is what we can talk about right now, we could just start talking about this. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know how? I could give you a timeline. I could read to you a timeline, really, and I could make it connect. Why does our youth? Why are they the way that they are? Why do they feel the way that they do? Why are they so far off to the left? And then everybody on the right is going like, "Well, this is what's wrong with the youth today. These people, they're this and they're that, and this is why we have to support all of this propaganda about these countries that basically are stealing from us and robbing us and taking everything from us." Right? So people believe this. They think that you're doing your due diligence and you're being a good person because you're following the whole narrative behind the war, right? Because if you're on the right and you don't want to deal with kids like that, people that act the way he does, you need to do everything that the right tells you to do. And the right is basically telling you that the war in Iran is a good thing. That's what they're doing, right? This is what they're telling you. Yeah, I agree. Social media and shit parenting, JFA. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Somebody says Nathaniel Gillis and Tony Marco had another awesome episode today. Cool. I don't know what I think about Nathaniel. I don't know much about him. I've heard people say different things, mixed messages. I don't know. He's been on there quite a bit on Tony's show. Tony's a friend of mine. But this is what someone said here. They said everyone wants to post about Iran in 1979. They keep selectively leaving the earlier part out. I'll keep posting this until it sinks in. This is from a woman named Tammy Bright. I don't know her. She said 70 years ago, Iran looked just like any Western country. Short skirts, rock and roll, open universities. It's 1953. Iran elects a secular socialist, Mohammad Mossadegh. He nationalizes oil. That pisses off British Petroleum. Cold War excuse, right? CIA and MI6 stage a coup, Operation Ajax. That's partially correct. What Tammy misses is the part about the Mossad. She says CIA and MI6. She really does not hit the nail on the head. Tammy, whoever she is, gives a pretty good overview of what happened, but not completely. She says Mossadegh is overthrown. They install the Shah, a brutal US-backed dictator. Secret police, torture chambers. Yes and no. I'll get into that. Iran turns into a puppet state. People are that desperate they turn to Khomeini, an exiled cleric, promising independence and dignity. 1979, Islamic Revolution. The Shah flees. U.S. embassy stormed. Hostage crisis. America never forgives. Arms Saddam Hussein. Iraq invades Iran. U.S. provides chemical weapons, satellite intel, logistics. 1 million Iranians die. Iranian kids sent into minefields with keys around their necks. U.S. shoots down Iran Air Flight 655, 290 civilians dead. No apology. Fast forward today, Israel attacks Iran. The U.S. immediately says, we stand with Israel. They talk about regime change. They say that Iranians deserve freedom. No mention of the coup they started. No mention of the dictator they installed. No mention of the war they fueled. No mention of the decades of sanctions and sabotage. They created a monster, and now they attacked it because it was still breathing. Watch who they tried to put in on the throne next. The son of the Shah is already being presented as the alternative, the same dynasty, the same foreign backing, the same promises of stability. History will repeat itself, and it's not going to end well. I agree with 80%. maybe 80% of that. What I don't agree with, she says 70 years ago, Iran looked just like any Western country. Yes and no. There was still a very large Muslim population there. And I'm not going to talk trash and say, that's a problem, but that's a problem because they're not going to conform to Western ideals. And trust me, there is no danger of any of these countries becoming communism. So I do agree when she says Cold War excuse because Mohammed Mossadegh, who was a he was borderline. He was a socialist, but you could say he was borderline communist, right? And I'll tell you what this has to do with everything, right? Listen to this. He nationalizes oil. That right there, and she's right about that. British Petroleum had a big stake in all of the Middle East. But there's this common denominator that everybody just kind of overlooks. They always kind of glance over it. I was watching Sean Ryan the other day. I don't really watch his show very much, but that was why there was this woman on there. She talks like this. Her name's Sarah. She's like former CIA agent. She must have been a DEI hire because she's just the most annoying woman ever. And when he starts talking about the connection between Israel, when Sean says this, he starts talking about the head of Israel, Epstein was good friends with these people. Well, he was friends with a lot of people. And she tried to say Qatar. She calls Qatar Qatar because she's an ignorant ass person. She's very ignorant, for real. She says that Qatar is behind the Epstein files. I burst out laughing on the toilet. And I was like, lady, Qatar is behind the Epstein files as much as I am behind the human meat in Mickey D's. No connection. I don't even go into Mickey D's. I don't supply them with meat. Okay. So I can tell you this. Here's what I'm telling you. Hold on one second. So, like I said, it has about as much as me making weapons of mass destruction in a cellar somewhere. Right? This is ridiculous. And if you want to know anything about the Middle East and the shit that's going on, I can tell you everything step by step. That's what I'm doing the Random Files. Because there's a lot of things that come up on the show on Paranormal Roundtable. There's a lot of things that come up in different discussions. And I can answer the questions. Ask me a question and I'll give you the best answer I can. Now, I might not always be 100%. And I'm not going to sit up here and just look up a bunch of shit and spew out AI crap or look up a bunch of shit and give you exact dates and whatever. But I'll tell you from memory what I know. And I promise you it'll be more informative than any news, whatever. Because I have a very strong memory. And anybody who knows me from Paranormal Roundtable knows that. I have that ability. So I'm not telling you that I am the be all end all. I'm not Gad the seer, but I can see. I'm not the amazing Kreskin. But so anyway, she says Cold War excuse, CIA and MI6 stage a coup. Operation Ajax. Yes and no. What she is missing and what these people often leave out is the Israel part. Nobody wants to criticize them and say anything because you will get canceled. And make no mistake, if you're on the right, you know all about cancel culture. But who is behind cancel culture? Has anybody ever pointed that out and said, really, truly, hey, it's them. The right. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to go hard in the paint on the right today. I love the right because I'm on the right. I'm a conservative. You see my flag there. It's not burning. My thing is this. They're going after the Candace Owens and Trump. I mean, they're going after Trump too. A lot of them are turning on him, but they're going after Tucker. And these are people that are telling you what's really going on. And they're like, oh, these people are blah, blah, blah. They're horrible people. Let's attack them. How dare them? There's a lot of people that talk like this at this point. Like, they go after our greatest ally. They're our greatest ally. They got a spoon dripping with oatmeal. Look, sit down, shut up. You had your time, right? You wrecked the economy. You left us basically scraps. You gorged yourself off of the greatest economy ever. You did drugs and party. You had Woodstock. You did all the bullshit you did. Now you want to tell us how to dictate. This is how the millennials see them. That generation. The doomers. Hmm. Me, I don't like the doomers and I don't like the millennials. I think they're both really, really, really off base. I don't hate them, but I think they're off base. I think that millennials, and a lot of them have worked for me, are really, really lazy as a whole. And I'm not saying that they didn't earn that right to be lazy, because a lot of them just really feel like they're entitled and they don't have to work. The reason I say that I don't totally blame them is because years and decades of brainwash and socialist programming have created that. This is a huge pie that we're trying to take bites out of. But over the course of this channel, unless we get knocked down and shut down by the tiny hats or whoever, or the bleeding heart liberals or the hateful right that doesn't like the truth, maybe we'll be here for a while and we'll talk about this. And piece by piece by piece, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to drop it like it's hot, and I'm going to build the wall that Pink Floyd has not finished. Because all in all, it's just another brick in the wall, right? I'm going to keep putting on those bricks until that wall is built. The wall of consternation. Here it is. They installed the Shah, a brutal US-backed dictator. Now, you can tell by her writing. I don't know this woman, but I would hazard to guess she's probably on the left. I don't know. I haven't even looked at her profile. Let's go look at it. So hard to tell these days. No. No, I don't think she is. Because she says here, did you know that the three wise men who visited Jesus are buried under a church in Iran? I say Iran, it's Iran. Do y'all even know how it became Iran? I'm going to do a show about that. I'm going to tell you how Iran became Iran, how it went from being called Persia to Iran. There's a whole story behind it. So I don't think she is. She says America first and America only. So guess what? Tammy, I think she should have said a little more about these people, but it appears that Tammy is actually one of these new blooded conservatives, kind of like myself, who loves their country, as you can see, like Bill the Butcher. I die a real American, right? But they don't want to be a part of the neocon war hawking bullshit that has been perpetrated and pushed through and shoved down our throats by a foreign entity. And I make no bones about who that entity is. It's called the Nation of Israel. Now, I don't personally have a problem with people being born Jewish. I don't have a problem with people being born Arab. What I have a problem with is their religion being forced upon us. There should be a separation of church and state. Do I think that people should be walking around saying that Sharia law is now in place? If you ever come to me and tell me that I can't walk my dog, I'm going to f you up. You better get out of my face. You better not ever put a bullhorn in my face. I've had a couple people pay the price for that. Don't yell and scream at me through a freaking bullhorn. And don't tell me that because you have now overrun an area that I am due to listen to you, because Islam can kiss my ass. I can't stand it. I don't like your religion. I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you and sugarcoat it. It really gets under my skin. I don't like Judaism either. And I don't believe in Judeo-Christian, because that's not a real thing. That's a make-believe term. Let's be honest. If you want to know the truth and you're hard-nosed enough to sit here and listen, I'm going to tell it to you. Here we go. We'll continue with Tammy Bright. You can look her up. She's on Facebook. She says, Mossadegh is overthrown. They installed the Shah, a brutal U.S.-backed dictator. Yes, brutal backed U.S. dictator, but he was also backed by who? Israel. Secret police, torture chambers, Iran turns into a puppet state. I wouldn't go that far. I would say that he was very friendly with these people that put him in charge. But I wouldn't say he was a complete and controlled puppet, or would I? Because if you're on the right, you don't believe that. You think that everything's great. He was put in place because he's a good, right? So part of you wants to believe that. The other part's like, no, he was damn sure evil. So, right, 1979, Islamic Revolution. The Shah flees. U.S. embassy stormed. Hostage crisis. America never forgives, and they arm Saddam Hussein. That's true on both counts. America doesn't forgive. They don't forget. They are also controlled by a foreign entity. Let's keep remember that. And they do arm Saddam Hussein. Saddam is armed to the teeth, right? We give Saddam's regime $1 billion worth of weaponry. We give him money to purchase things abroad. Arms dealers out the yin yang, dude, just flood into Iraq to make deals. Where did Saddam get all of the money? Well, obviously, he got it from us. U.S. provides chemical weapons, satellite intel, logistics, and they have never admitted to that. He had weapons of mass destruction. And I've actually talked to and been on the show with people, not here, on another channel, and people that were soldiers over in Iraq. And they say, yeah, he had weapons of mass destruction. It was chemical weapons. Technically, that's not correct. Those are not weapons of mass destruction. Those are horrendous weapons who can hurt people. But are they mass destruction weapons? No, not technically, no. Mass destruction are weapons of nuclear capability. Did he have nuclear capability? Hell no. He attacked Iran. They gave it all to him so he would attack Iran. He killed over 1 million Iranians, crippled them for like 2 decades, knocking out Israel's chief rival in the Middle East. But then they had Saddam to worry about because Saddam invaded Kuwait and got the oil fields there, and they're one of the rich little principalities there. Them, the Saudis, and the Arab Emirates, UAE. Sorry, those are the ones that play ball with Israel because to play ball with Israel, you get along with the United States, and because the United States is parasitized and does whatever Israel says. That's the truth. You want me to lie about it? Okay, let's believe like the evangelicals do. No, they are God's chosen people, and everything they piss and shit in our face, we call it due. Right? Bull crap. That's not correct. So what happens? They invade Iran. They kill all these people, and then we end up having the scenes where the Iranian children were trying to undo the landmines, and it was horrible, you know. And then, of course, yeah, we did. We shot down Flight 655, killing 290 civilians. No apology. Fast forward today, Israel attacks Iran. Right? We're trying to achieve something here. We're taking out the horrible regime. We're taking them out. That's what we're doing. We have a guy that's been in power since 1989 or some shit after the Ayatollah Khomeini died. Now we have another Khomeini lunatic who's in there, and he is a piece of shit. The mullahs, all of them are pieces of shit. Hopefully they all got blown away and they're burning in hell. That's a hope. Now they're saying the son of Shah is going to come back. Why would the son of Shah come back? Why do we need this guy? Well, we have to have somebody legitimate to get in there. You just blew these people back to the Stone Age. They're already pretty Stone Aged. Women are walking around in trash bags and, well, they call them burqas, but let's be honest, backwards ass, stupid, dumbass people, religion wise. And there's this weird dynamic too, where it's like, well, if you're a conservative, you got to hate Islam. I don't need to be conservative to dislike the hell out of that religion. I can tell you exactly, I don't believe that he was talking to an angel. I think he was talking to a fallen angel. That's my opinion. You don't like it? Well, too bad. Fill those trash bags up and eat the trash out of it. I don't care. But here's the truth. I don't like who we're doing this for, our little mistress that gets us into every freaking war since World War One. And before that, but we'll just start with World War One. I can tell you a whole thing about World War One too. What happened? Germany was on the verge of winning, And they had the odds stacked against them even more brutally than they did in World War II. And they were this close to winning. But then America joined in. Why? Because Britain was about to lose. So they turned to the Zionist controlled media and said, hey, we need help here. And they went into overdrive. They said, okay, because the Holy Land was controlled by the Ottomans, and the Ottomans were Germany's ally. And they said, give us the Holy Land, all of that region there. That's the beginning of the Israel project, from the Nile to the Euphrates. Look it up. You think I don't understand? You think I don't know? I know exactly what the hell they did. Benjamin Friedman, go read. I don't need to sit here and give you a whole thing about him. Go read what he said. The Nile to the Euphrates. Exactly. And Anthony's not in the studio with me right now, but he says Israel's that crazy governor who gets drunk and starts problems with people in public and then expects you to defend her actions, or you're a traitor. That's exactly right. And you will do their bidding, believe me. And then they're going to use the media like a little monkey organ grinder, and they're going to convince you that whatever they're doing, whoever they're attacking, whoever they're starting shit with, it's because it needs to happen. Regime change. I'm all for regime change in Iran. Like I said, these towelhead fuckheads over there in Iran, excuse my language, get rid of them. They're not a good thing. They're not. But I'm not going to do it for you. That's the problem, because you are a foreign power. And Bibi comes on and says, we have the left saying this. We have the right saying this. You need to stop. Like, bitch, the last time I heard you weren't from America. You are not from here. Why are you dictating, telling us, oh, I forgot, because you do run everything, don't you? Then his plane circling around, and guess where he ends up? Germany. Germany's friendly, yeah, because y'all kicked the shit out of them. You had the whole world gang up on them, and now they belong to you. Germany, it's illegal to even criticize them. You know, people go to prison all the time in Germany for that. You can't criticize them in France, Germany, Britain, 26 countries. You can't say shit about them in Europe. You can't say damn thing. You open your mouth, you go to jail. And they're trying to do that here. And we're all supposed to applaud, like trained seals. We just bark, and we're so happy that yes, yay, you bombed Iran and you have now liberated people. Democracy has taken hold. But these places in the Middle East, one thing about them, I got to give them credit for, they're never going to be marching through the streets with rainbow flags, with dudes' junk hanging out and exposing it to children and whatever else like that, because that is haram to them. And I don't give a shit how much change you do in these countries. It will always have that underlying current of Islamic extremism. And then you go and you take a stick. Let's go jab it into the hornet's nest. Let's see what comes out of that. Let's see what flies out of let's see what happens. That's a good idea, right? Let's do that. Right? So moving on here. The United States, literally in this war, if you haven't been keeping up, and I've been sort of, yeah, some, but it's just another bunch of bullshit. But I have to know what's going on. I have friends that are in the military, and a lot of people, their children are in the military, and they know me. And so I'm worried about some of these people, right? So here's what happens. We have run out of certain missiles to protect our Arab allies. So everything was redirected toward protecting Israel. So then the Saudis are pissed off. Everybody's pissed off. They're like, why did you pull out? Why did you redirect? Because we're running low on shit. And if you don't think for 1 second that this benefits China, you're out of your freaking mind. China wanted us to attack Iran. You know why China wanted us to attack Iran? Because we're spending billions and billions of dollars on these ballistic missiles to attack this other nation over here at the behest of this little shit. And guess what? It depletes our weaponry. We give that country $20 billion a year. They're not bloated and greedy enough. Every one of them has free health care. Every citizen of Israel, free health care, free education, free everything, grants, everything. Everything is given to them. They are provided for. They all make 20-something thousand dollars a year, free checks, subsidized by their government, because we subsidize it, because your tax dollars are going to pay for that shit. And then on top of it, let's give all of our allies in that region reason to pause and go, wait a minute, we shouldn't be supporting this shit because now they're getting hit and the bases are getting blown to kingdom come. Did you know that? They have knocked out multiple military. They're not telling you this. That's why Trump is like, well, we're talking to them about, let's go to peace. Every time you do these talks, you turn around and Israel attacks them and knocks the shit out of them. So shut up. Stop playing tough. You're not tough. And these people are going to keep on getting attacked because that's how they got them all to get together and negotiate. Then they attacked and they blew them all to hell. They killed all the leadership. Well, a lot of them. Now you have the military leaders who are in charge. And that's not necessarily a good thing either. When in the Middle East has a military leader been good in the last 100 years? They haven't. So now you have a vacuum that's going to happen. And guess what? Insurgents are going to be in there. It's going to become a freaking brutal quagmire. If we put boots on the ground, it will be a nightmare. It's Iraq times 10. Courtesy of the tiny hats. Because the conservatives, America, you dumbasses. I've never wanted to slap conservatives so hard in the face in my life. And I say that with all due respect because I love you, but you are so damn brainwashed and ignorant. It is so ridiculous. How can people be so stupid? And stop talking about the Shah, because Tammy Bright, this person that I just looked up on Facebook here, he's right. Everyone wants to post about Iran 1979. But they don't talk about what happened to Mohammad Mossadegh. They don't talk about this guy. You never hear about him. You know why? And I'm going to tell you something. He was a socialist during the Cold War. Yeah. 1953. I think Khrushchev was the president at that time. 1953. And he was a borderline communist. He had literally, I know this as the truth. I don't care what anybody tells you. He'd been reading the Red Book, Mao Zedong, and all this other shit. He was on board with that, and I think that socialism is always a stepping stone for communism to get involved. So let's ask the question: who created communism? Does anybody in the audience know where communism came from? 12 of the 13 founding members of communism, minus Stalin, were all Jewish. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard people get the numbers wrong. They're like 9 people, 8 people, 7 people, and then Lenin, they don't count him. Lenin they all were. Joseph Engels, Lenin, Trotsky, Lenin, all of them. Ida Rosenberg, every one of them. They created communism together based on Karl Marx, who is also Jewish, to subdue and destroy Russia, because Russia was the main goal. You know why Russia was the main goal? Does anybody know why? Because Ukraine. And guess what was in Ukraine, in the south of Ukraine? That was there, has been there, has always been there. Khazaria. Their homeland. Go look up Jewish people in Ukraine. You will see they have literally, that whole region has been taken. All the white people from there, the Ukrainians, have all been taken to slaughter and die and defend their nation. And the people that are there now, the Jewish people, they don't go to fight. They don't ever fight. They're all just flooding in there and taking it over and taking over all of that land. Go look it up. You think I'm playing. I'm not lying. I'm being honest. I'm being completely honest, sounding horrible when I tell you this, because somebody has to tell you. Because if, we talk about this, people, we're in the real reality. This isn't something that I can really talk about on the other channel because this isn't paranormal. But it is part of the real reality. And it's going to be worse and worse and worse because it ties into that, because it is a satanic order. It is a satanic power. They're called the Shaitan, the Hashatan. And they run this world. And Jesus tells us this. And they're like, well, Jesus was Jewish too, right? He was a Galilean. He came from the lineage of David. None of those Pharisees or Sadducees, two different things, One was totally believing that they just used spiritual whatever to convince the people of the afterlife. The other, the Sadducees, didn't believe in anything. They just believed in right now, here, we're rich, we control everything, hedonism, and then death. But they got together against Christ because Christ was a problem for them. It was inconvenient. He said some things that there's like, it's very inconvenient. This guy, he says a lot of things. He says we're wrong. I don't like that. He says God is his father, and that our father is not his father, and our father is the devil. I think some of them knew that and didn't care. Just look at Abe Finkelstein. He didn't give a shit. He's evil as all hell. He comes out and says it. We're eating your children. Blah blah blah. They don't give a shit, and nobody cares. The e-files just come and go. Like, right? It's just another circus, and eventually people will forget. Oy vey, nobody remembers, and then they'll forget, and the. But some people do remember, and I know Pepperidge Farm remembers. So, Khazaria, right? 849, King Bulan. He's in between two, you know the whole story. We'll go over that one day on here on the Random Files, and I'll tell you what that is, and I'll explain Khazaria to you. For right now, we're talking about Iran. How many of you in the audience think it's a good thing we attacked Iran? And if you believe that, I'm not going to attack you, but tell me why you think it's a good thing. And I'll give you a million reasons why it's not. But if you believe that it's a good thing, then, and I'll even, if you want to, I'll even let you come on. Just tell me, hey, I want to come on and tell you why. I'm going to school you, Mr. Wolf. So many people I interview, they call me Mr. Wolf. That's not my name, but hey, call me whatever. I don't really care what you call me, but I'm going to keep dropping the truth like hotcakes. I'm going to tell you what's real. And this is bullshit. Not the regime change, but you know, if they really wanted a regime change, they were able to get spies in there that came back and said they don't have nuclear capability. You were able to get those spies in there. You're telling me that at no time, stop and use your brain. At no time, take your brain out of the matrix for a minute and use the brain that God gave you. They could get in and out of Iran a million times and talk about their nuclear capabilities and give you every schematics on everything they have. But they couldn't figure out a way to kill these people. They figured out a way to kill Charlie Kirk. It's just the truth. So what you're going to tell me that they couldn't do anything to this guy? They couldn't get rid of this guy, the leader. They could have taken him out, and they could have taken out strategically all. But let me tell you something, and this is the brutal truth. They wanted these people in charge. They wanted this regime in charge. You know why? Because it gives them a good reason to go in and attack. If you have a warmongering, idiot, cleric, mullah, dumb shit, goat fucker in there, it gives you a good excuse to go in and knock the living shit out of them. We had to do this. This was a holy crusade. We had to free the Iranian people. And you're like, you could have done that with a pin bomb. They literally have things like this that will blow up and kill somebody. You're telling me that one of these spies couldn't spike his coffee? You couldn't put a bomb in there or in his watch or something? You couldn't do it? You couldn't knock them out and make it blow up and hit their neck? Right? Or while they're up there talking, we have to worship Allah, blah, 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 while they're doing all of that crap, that something doesn't blow up in their neck and it looks like a shooter did it. And Akbar, who wants gay rights or whatever, he was up there with a gun and he did it. And then he disassembles the rifle. He runs into the woods. He reassembles it, throws it in the woods, and then runs away. Right? Akbar. And why did you do it? Because I like trans people. And y'all don't let me do this. The Quran stops me from doing this. Why? I mean, it could have happened, right? I mean, it's the truth. I don't know. I maybe call me crazy, but I think that this is, I don't know. I think that that's probably what they could have done and what they should have done if you were really trying to affect regime change. But Wait a minute. Oh shit! I just had a good. You. That's you know what? That's not what you were trying to do. Shit, silly me. No, no, because you are following very smart. They're very, very clever people. What they do is they take that slingshot and they throw 3 shots and they hit different targets. They don't just do there's no wasted movement with these people. Remember, they're only 4% of the population, so they have to be smart, clever, but they commit every waking minute to being deceitful. That's what criminals do. Criminals can be the dumbest people on earth with everything, but then smart as hell when it comes to crime. So what these people do, they said, "We have to find a way to make them be the ultimate bad guy." For 40 years, we've been hearing that they've had nuclear weapons, and they haven't had nuclear weapons. That's a fucking lie. Their nuclear capability, even if they had them, you have to have long-range nuclear missile capability, which is another ballgame. You might have a nuclear weapon that could hit your neighbor. You know, Pakistan and India have that. Do you have the long-range capability to knock somebody out in the United States? Fuck no. And they never would. And don't believe that no, sir, dude, that is an absolute fucking lie. That country couldn't even put together I mean, dude, I'm sorry to be rude or whatever, but under the Islamic mullahs, these idiots that control they're stupid ass shits. Not the people themselves. They're pretty smart people. But their leaders are freaking dumbass Islamic extremists. When was the last time they were capable of agreeing on the time of day? When was the last time that they agreed on what kind of coffee to drink without shooting each other with 7.62 rounds from an AK? They kill each other constantly. It's real, and it's not hard. They just to make them at each other's throats is very easy. Then they're always like over in another country beating up some white kid and going like, "Oh, we're all together. We're the same." No, you're just because you're beating up this kid. That's why you're not that way in your own countries. Believe me, they don't agree on shit. I've been around them. They don't. They only get together in groups and agree on something when they've invaded some Christian country, which they are doing in droves, and courtesy of the tiny hats there too. Thank you for that, Chosenbergs. They created the EU for that purpose. I'm going to talk about that at some point too. I'll tell you exactly what the EU is, why it is, and why she was the one that they. Yeah. You think that they choose these people by accident? When they did the ceremony at CERN, she was there right next to Obama. Dancing around demons and all kinds of shit. Yeah, dude. Trust me. I know what these people are. I know everything about these people, dude. Believe me. So they do this, they destabilize this region, this country, right? What's the end game? They ask me, what do they have to gain by this? Okay. Iran has been the one that has funded Hamas. They funded Hezbollah. Now, do you know what the difference between Hezbollah and Hamas is? We'll get into that one day on the show too. I'll tell you all about it. Hamas is actually the Palestinian terrorist organization, and they are terrorists. No, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're good people because they're not. And I believe that for years, Yasser Arafat was just a figurehead and that he was being paid and he did something that pissed off Ariel Sharon at some point, but he was a useful idiot. He took a lot of money, including Jewish money, to continue to terrorize the people of Israel so that they would always be able to have the boogeyman and say, hey, we have to be this strong, borderline totalitarian, militaristic society. I would say borderline because they do allow their people to run around and have gay parades and all that shit. They're the only country in the Middle East that does that. So then they're able to, hey, we have to fight these people. In October, when all the shit popped off, and Charlie Kirk mentioned it. He said that they were killing Jewish people for they were live streaming it. Takes 45 minutes to get over there to where they were at. It took them 6 hours to get over there to do anything about it. They needed a body count. That's what they did to Dresden in World War II. They needed a body count so that they could go in and do what they wanted to do because the rich ones always prey on the poor ones and they use them as a sacrifice. They commit human sacrifice on a scale you would not believe. What do you think the e-files were? Because they don't look at us as anything more than cattle. So slaughtering one of us is like slaughtering a bull. It's like when the Romans killed a bull. They're just killing cattle and blood sacrifice because their God, like Jesus says, is not our God. So they use that blood. The blood moon, how many people you think died over this blood moon? Purim. Go look it up. You probably have no clue what I'm talking about. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. It's just I just noticed the shit years ago. Nobody had to drill it into my head what these people were doing. I saw it. I started this journey when I was 19. The first time I left the country, and I was like, good freaking gosh, what is this shit? And all these people around the world were like, yeah, America is just run by these people. And I'm like, what? I mean, I kind of know, but kind of don't, you know? I went to a Christian Science Academy as a kid, and it was like, we were told that this is God's people. I got my ass beat all the time because I questioned things. Don't question things. When it comes to the Christian fundamentalists, do not question them. Israel good, Arabs bad. That's simple as that. Islam is a problem. I don't, without question, they don't belong in Western civilized societies. Get the fuck out. Don't take me for some Islamic apologist because I don't give a shit about that. Just because you have a problem with this little shit country doing all of this shit doesn't mean you agree with their enemies. The enemy of my enemy is not my friend. I don't need Ahmed to be my friend. I don't want to be Ahmed's friend. I think that their religion is a freaking bastardization. And they said it's the continuation of Christianity. In what way? And the way that Jesus said that demons would come and angels pretending to be, and y'all went along with it because Jesus said that. And they took it and they went with it and they ran around saying, oh, the angel Gabriel, I can't stand. Shut up. Just shut the F up, dude. I'm so sick of you. Dogs are bad. You know, blah, blah, blah. You copied and pasted the kosher cookbook. Kiss my ass. I don't like you. I don't like the little fucker that's down there starting the shit with a stick. And it's not my job. They should be allowed to actually exercise their fundamental right to kill each other. Wouldn't that be nice if we would just stay the F out of everything and let nature take its course and let them fight? They say they're a bulwark against Islam. This is Israel, right? Then be the bulwark against Islam and shut the fuck up and quit trying to make us fight and do your job. You're such a bulwark against Islam. We pay you billions and billions and billions. Me and my dogs could be the bulwark against Islam with as much money as you're giving. If you gave me that much money, Islam would be wiped off the face of the map. They need Islam to be a problem so that they can invade foreign countries and say that it's their right because they need a world of their own. And they want the Nile to the Euphrates. Look up the Greater Israel Project. That is what they want. That is what they're doing. I swear to you on all that is holy, if you gave me as a single person the money that you gave that country, I would destroy Islam in a year and a half. Only a year and a half because I'd need to take a little time off the vacation in between the bloodbath. I would destroy it. We would have militias going in and it would be over. I mean, why do you need that? It would be done. You'd arm every Christian and every person that's willing to go and do whatever, and you would just march in and take it over. But then there'd be a huge public outcry around the world because you are committing genocide. Right? Because that's what you're doing. But we don't need them to be the bulwark against shit. We need you to stop getting us involved and unhitch our wagon from them and be like, hey, we need to have a world of our own and not have a vampire bat hanging off of it. That's the thing right there. That's the deal right there. If it was me, I would be like, we're closing the doors. We don't need any more immigration. They're the ones, if you look at the policymakers, every time it's one of them behind it. And they're the ones opening the doors to all of this shit. Remember, they created communism. And what is the stepping stone to communism? Socialism. And how many of them promote this crap? Through the porn industry, through the music, through all of it. Look at all of it. It always goes back to one of them. Every single time, 110,000%. It always goes back to the same damn whatever. And they flaunt it. It's right in your face. And everybody's over there like, oh, like they can't see it. You don't see it? How can you not see it? It's so clear to me what happened. One day we'll talk about World War I. We'll talk about World War II. We'll talk about Vietnam. What was Vietnam about? You think we were trying to stop communism? No, because those people control us and they don't want to stop communism. Communism was the greatest thing ever because the NKVD killed 60 million Christians. And do you realize that the leadership of the NKVD was 77%? Tiny hats. Go look these things up. Go read about the NKVD and what they did. World War II. Germany would tell you over and over again, too. They're like, we are not fighting the Russians. We are fighting Bolshevism. There's a difference between fighting an ideology and fighting the people. They were not fighting the Russian people. Do you realize that 268,000 Russians actually joined them and helped them? Not to mention 400,000 Spaniards who all volunteered. The Scandinavian countries sent hundreds of thousands of volunteers, and altogether there were almost 3 million soldiers that went into Russia. Now, I would have done it differently. I would have concentrated that army, would have divided it up into these different groups, and I would have went in city by city, garrisoning everything we took. And that would have worked. But Hitler was a dumbass, and he was in control. He was smart politically, but he wasn't smart militarily. And he had the best officer cadre the world had ever seen, and he destroyed it. Some say that was his job. I think he got carried away and started playing the role, and he really liked it. And he said, I'm going to do this for real. You know, he didn't create Nazism. Did you know that? He was a spy. Nazism, or National Socialism, was created by Otto and Gregor Strasser. Look it up. Hitler merely adopted it, going in as a Weimar Republic spy, which was the same as saying basically you played for the Jews. They wanted Germany for a long time. They wanted to take it, they wanted to control it, and use the Germans' abilities to create and think and whatever, because they don't do it themselves. When was the last time they created shit? They borrow, steal, lie, beg. Do you know that there is a race of them in India called the Cochin? Do you know that? They're actually gypsies. That's the same people, the same roots. They are stealing, doing all this crap, begging, refusing to work, and think that they're better than everybody. It's unbelievable. And then they went all over Europe just causing all kinds of problems. And then the Germans put a stop to that shit too. But over here in the West, in the East, they despise them. But over here, we romanticize it. You have Willie Nelson, like a band of gypsies, we go down the highway. Old goofy old bastard. We hope your generation hurries up and down. I'm joking. Seriously though, why do we romanticize everything that's gross and disgusting and vile? Because a group of people who are literally bloodthirsty psychopaths who don't believe in Christ, reject Christ, and even say that their Messiah is coming to do this and that. If our Messiah has come and they rejected him, who do you think their Messiah is? It's a good question, isn't it? Maybe the Antichrist? Just a wild guess. Shot in the dark. The flag of Remphan, the star of Remphan, 666. Who is Remphan? We talked about that on the show on Monday, on the show over there, the other one we have. Jeez Louise, man. People wake the F up, dude. Be awake, not woke. The goofy white kid with the skateboard. He's a product. He is a product of a system that has been at work through the Rockefellers, through the Rothschilds, and they have been chopping us up piece by piece, bit by bit. Read the words of Bibi Netanyahu. What did he say he was going to do to the United States? Let's see if we can look it up. I don't want to misquote the guy, right? He's a smart guy, isn't he? He's a smart man. Let's see what he says about America. This no, it's not going to let me do it. Okay, let's look it up. Now this thing's going to act all. Can't tell me they don't control this shit. Well, for some reason, my phone doesn't want to do it. I'm gonna have to go into a web browser that I can get it on. Anyways, go and look this up, figure it out. They talk about how they're going to distribute. He's literally, it's a video of him saying this, and they talk about how what they're going to do to America, chop it up into pieces and sell it off, and it's going to become a welfare state. And you ask me why I give a shit about this? It has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. That's a blanket term that they use. If I was anti-Semitic, I would hate them, Arabs, Kurds, Turkish people, Persian people. I would hate all of these people, the Berbers, the Bedouins. I don't hate those people. I don't hate any of them. I just don't think it's our freaking problem. I don't hate them. I love my land. I love my country. What do I give a shit happens, just like Tucker said about the Lebanese border? Why do I give a damn about Iran? Of course, they could strike us and kill us, and no, they can't. No, they wouldn't. Here it is, right here. So it says if we get caught, they will just replace us with persons of the same cloth. So it doesn't matter what you do. America is a golden calf, and we will suck it dry, chop it up, and sell it off piece by piece until there is nothing left. But I can't even see what that says here. Nothing left but the world's biggest welfare state. Then we will create and control. That we will create and control. Why? Because it's God's will, and America is big enough to take the hit so we can do it again and again and again. This is what we do to countries that we hate. We destroy them very slowly, and we make them suffer for refusing to be our slaves. This was Benjamin Netanyahu in the Knesset in 1990. And that is courtesy of Ryan Mata. Go look him up. He's got a channel too. He's one of the people, a truther. Does that sound like somebody that you should be following and thinking that they're our fucking ally because they aren't? Excuse my language. I get agitated with this. I don't want to be cussing, but is that somebody we should be following? And why is President Trump over there kissing his ass? You know why? Because every president that we've ever had does that. Have you seen any different? Yep. Hot Rock says that's what's happening in the UK with Muslims. Why are the Muslims in the UK? Disastrous policies put into place by socialist ass lickers that were put in power by the tiny hats. Make no mistake. And some of them are tiny hats too. They just have different names. Davis is actually a very common Jewish name in the UK. Not all Davis are that, but that's Phillips and Davis. They co-opted those names. They blend in and they pretend to be us. And then they go, well, let's just make this really stupid socialist policy, which is borderline communism. It's communism. Let's do this. And then the dumbass leftists are like, okay, that sounds like a great idea. We should let the Muzzies in. They're good people. They're refugees. Your disastrous policies supporting this bloodthirsty country and blowing their country to hell created refugees, and now they're coming to your country to a corner store near you where they will F you up. They don't beat anybody's ass over here in America. They get beat up. You know why? Because we have blacks and Mexicans here that are way meaner and will beat the living fuck out of Akbar. I'm not joking. I grew up beating the fuck out of everybody. Oh, you're a bully. No, I'm a realist and I protect myself. And if somebody says something and mouths off, I'm going to, do what I got to do. I defend myself and I'm very capable and good at it. That's why I coached it for 16 years. People saw it was just a matter word of mouth. Like, you want to learn how to fight? Go ask Wolf. He'll show you how to beat the shit out of people. Beat them, choke them, kick them, punch them, whatever you want to do. Elbow drop them, knock them into the fifth density, whatever you want to do. I'll slap you so hard your mom will wake up in agony. How about that? But having that ability, that's not going to get you very far. It will get you to prison. That's about it. What you need to know is up here. It's more to the brain, less to the boot. How many people will hear this before they kill me, before they get rid of me and the other people like me, and denounce us as horrible anti-Semitic people, are going to hear this. Take the words I hear and spread the word. You do your own thing. Start your own channel. Go to Rumble. Go wherever. Every one of you in this, go starts a channel and starts talking about this. Imagine the movement that could happen. Imagine. How many people have said, hey, you should all go and start your own channel, do your own research, and start doing this? I'm saying this. I don't know any other podcasters or YouTubers are going to tell you to do that, because for me, this is not a money-making venture. I don't make shit off of this. What I do is I'm telling you, before I die and they take me out or whatever they're going to do to me or whoever they're going to do, I want you all to go do the same thing and keep going and tell everybody it's an information war. That's the real war. These ballistic missiles and all this other shit, the Iron Dome and all this shit, that is surface level shit. What you need to do is dig deep. Find out what the fuck is going on. What is the red heifer? What is all of this? What is Purim? Why does it matter? Because it is a very fight. It's the fight for your very soul. Satan is trying to snatch your soul out of your body. The souls are very powerful. If I told you the true reality, you'd probably think I was off my freaking rocker, so I'm not going to do it tonight. But you don't realize what the soul really is. It's a battery. They need souls to prop up their gods. Gods. Moloch, Remphan, Baphomet, Beelzebub, Lucifer. These are the ones that they worship. You think I'm joking? Saturn. Why does Saturn reflect off of the moon and the moon? This is what they do, folks. They've been doing this shit to us for a long time, and they're not the only ones. Let's not just blame them, because there are a shit ton of Goyim and Shabbos Goy that support them and help them and give them the ability to do these things. You know who they are? You. The ones that go along with it. In a Jewish person, there are Jewish people who are Messianic, and bless their hearts, they are good people. You know what they do? They convert to Christianity. And when you convert to Christianity, guess who you become? You become Israel. You are grafted in. Did you know that? You are Israel. You are Israel. When you accept Christ, you become Israel. These people playing, the puppet people down there playing people, they're not even people, they're just playing. These demons that run around doing what they're doing. Do you know that what's going to happen? Israel is going to be the biggest blood sacrifice ever. And these people who are running around, the international fake Jewish community, is going to be, they're going to applaud it. They're going to be happy. They're okay with killing their own people. That is the most glorious sacrifice. You think I'm joking? They did it before, and they'll do it again. What do you think the Holocaust is? You know what the word Holocaust means? Do you know what it means, Anthony?
Burnt offering.
Burnt offering. Burnt offering to whom? You know that the Zionists had an agreement with the Nazis? Did you know that? And it was okay for a couple of years, and then it went south because I think Hitler actually decided that he was going to do whatever the hell he was going to do. Dude, when Adolf Eichmann was taken in, holy shit, dude, the shit he was saying about how he was a Zionist. He was working with the Nazis as a Zionist. And I don't think they expected him to come up there and say the shit he did or for anybody to remember it. This is all one big charade. They've been playing this game. It's a matrix that the Shaitan have built for us. Jesus says that they are the god of this world, the Shaitan. And we are living amongst the enemy. As a Christian, you will be persecuted to the ends of the earth. Stop believing in this persecution of these fake people because it doesn't exist. It's not real. It's generated. They want Islamic extremism. They want communism. They want all of these things to happen. They want bad things to happen because when enough bad happens in a place, what happens? Guess what happens? The police state has to take over. Every time somebody shoots up something or does something or whatever, it's one step closer. Oh, we got to step in and take over. Yeah, Goebbels was one of them, dude. I'm sorry to tell you that. That was all part of the rhetoric. They needed Goebbels. Look at Goebbels. Look at him. He literally was Jewish. Goebbels said the things that he said and did the things that he did so that he could get everybody fired up about him because he needed that propaganda. So that when the war was over and they lost, because he knew they would, because the whole world was against him, they could say, look at what happened. And then they used it for 80 fucking years. There's even a book about it called The Holocaust Industry. Go look it up. You think that, and here's a good question. Bluestone just said that. Why would they media, why didn't they translate his speeches? Less than 8% of the United States population spoke German. So they could get on there and they could literally translate. They were doing it even like 20 years ago with the non-history channel. Lying about what he's saying. Lying, spewing lies. And everybody's buying into it. Until you realize what they're really saying and what he was crying about and complaining and bitching, whatever. Then you realize, like, oh shit, maybe we've been played. But like Yahoo said, hey man, even if we get caught, it doesn't matter. We'll just replace ourselves with some more people like us. We're just vessels for demons. And he's literally a demon. Do you think that that's an actual human? You don't think that, do you? Do you think that's a person? Do people talk like that? Him and Henry Kissinger, they're perfectly possessed people. They belong to Legion, dude. Are you kidding me? Those fuckers drink the black goo, the black tar. They're vampires. It's the truth. So tell me what you think about the war in Iran. Tell me. There's only 100 people in here, but I mean, what do you think? Because I fully expect them to try to come after us on here, and I'm just going to go to Rumble and start talking about this, but I need to build the audience here so that we will eventually move it to Rumble, and the Random Files will become a Rumble channel. We're going to have to set that up, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then I can tell you everything I need to tell you. This is just a small preview. And not every show is going to be this, some rant about these people, whatever. This show is just going to give you, I'm going to talk about all of these different subjects, and I'm going to explain them to you. Call it history for the layman people, whatever. So you can understand it, because you have to start somewhere. And putting things in layman terms so that everybody can go out and do their own research is the most important thing. If you come out with all of this really sophisticated information with facts of like, what do you call it? The dates? Sorry about the facts. Yeah. dates and all, so people get lost. Do you know that the number one in 2018 they did a poll? I read this. The least liked subject by American students was what, Anthony?
History.
Why do you think that? Because they pissed all over it and they made it all about memorizing dates, and they don't tell you the why, they just tell you the what. And it's all lies anyway. So it wasn't even palatable. It's like eating a dry piece of chicken breast, and you're only eating it because you're working out and you need the protein. So you're like, I don't know, it just tastes like shit. Well, because if you tell them the why or the how or the who, then you have a problem. Because one thing these people don't like, the elites, the goyim and their masters, they don't like this fact stuff. They don't like when people come out and tell you this is point blank what they're doing, exactly how they're doing it, why they're doing it. And they don't like being called out on what and who they are. They don't like that shit. When you come out and you tell the world this is exactly what's happening, this is why it's happening, and this is what it is, they get freaked out, man. They get really freaked out. And that is counter to what they want history to be. It's anathema to what they want. What they really want is for people to believe the history books and say that it's okay. It's all good. Rain says, on a positive note, it will kick the rock down the road for longer for us having an issue with China because it's going to cut off large amount of their oil supply. Yeah. Well, yes and no. Iran doesn't need, they are literally connected to China, so they don't really need to. I mean, they don't, how would they not be able to get oil to China? You believe that? My thing is this. They got oil from Venezuela too because it was a socialist, borderline communist. Well, it was a communist country. We say it was socialist. That's being nice. But they were getting oil from them too. But China doesn't need Iran to give them oil. Let's put it that way. And there's nothing cutting them off from it. If you look at a map, do we have a map? Put up a world map here. Let's look at Google for a minute, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, Rain. And Rain's a smart kid, believe me. She doesn't need to be schooled, but I'm going to show all of you what I'm talking about. Think she's just trying to be positive on a positive note. There we go. So over here, if you look at the map, here's Iran. Right here is where the military is kind of based out of. It's all right in here. This is where all this little Persian Gulf right here, the Gulf of Oman, there's a choke point right there. They're making it sound like if we choke this off right here, nothing can happen, right? Oh, Iran is trapped. Okay, they literally are talking this crazy shit on Fox and on CNN and these other ridiculous channels. I've looked at a little bit of their dumb shit. It's really laughable to me because this doesn't mean shit. This is still Iran right here. What? So you're like, oh, well, we can't do it. They can't do anything because we've stopped them. Do you realize that China is just right over here? Like here's China up here. Right here. Here's Iran. Here's China. Iran, as long as they're friendly with Afghanistan, does it look like they're going to have a problem just getting oil? Do you really think that they're going to stop them from sending oil to somebody that's just right here? Because here in America, One of the problems is that they don't know geography. Have you noticed that? Americans don't know geography because we're over here and there's all of this stuff right here. This stuff right here is called the ocean, right? This is the Atlantic Ocean. And then over here, this whole big thing right here, I'm going to be real honest. I don't believe it's all the Pacific Ocean. I think it's pretend. But we pretend like this is all the Pacific Ocean because if it wasn't, or if it really was, we wouldn't need to fly planes the way we do. So let's pretend like it is the way they say it is, right? Which is not really totally correct. There's a whole nother world out there, folks. But here's the thing. Saudi Arabia is pissed off because their bases got hit. They're like, hey, why are we not being protected? Iran is over here and they're flying like bombs. What do you call them? Missiles that are actually hitting Israel. They're knocking them down, so they claim. We really don't know the truth because the media is going to lie either way. Well, we know that Saudi Arabia filed a complaint because they were knocking shit out over here on their bases. And then they hit a major oil refinery. Was it in Riyadh? Try to remember where they said it was. But anyways, why would Iran have a problem getting oil over to China? And don't believe what these talking heads tell you because they're parakeets, dude. They're parrots. Sorry. They're parrots, folks. They're trained to tell you that they can't do that because Abu Dhabi Magaba Boo Boo Bobby over here doesn't like them and they're not going to let them do it because they said that the Samagama scene. Bullshit. Ramalama ding dong. No. There is nobody here between there and there that is going to stop Iran from getting their oil to China. You know why? We left Afghanistan. Guess what happened in Afghanistan? We left 32,000 tons of shit on there that they have now used to invade Pakistan. Did you know that? There's actually been a war that they've been fighting. Did anybody tell you that? Probably not. So they can go through Afghanistan. Afghanistan hates the United States. They have no love for them. Nobody over here likes the United States or Israel. So for them to go to China, which is right here, it's really not that hard. They could literally fly this shit, stop in Tajikistan, and then refuel, and then fly to China. That airspace, there's no one that's going to shoot them down. There's nothing that's going to stop them, and they can bring tons and tons and tons of crude across. They don't need anybody's permission. They don't need anybody's help. They can do it. They can drive the shit too. It might be treacherous, but China doesn't need to sit back and wait for them to give it to them. China can be right here, and Iran could just give it to them, and they could take it all the way back to China, and there's probably a pipeline or two that's already doing it anyway. But they could literally transport it. It doesn't matter. They don't need that. People have this misconception. Not only that, but guess what's right here? The Caspian Sea. Right? Iran is right here. Here's Tehran. All of this oil just goes up here into Turkmenistan, and then they just drive it across. Or they've already built pipelines, and our government, our media is not going to tell you that it's that easy. You know what they're going to do? They're going to lie, and they're going to tell you that we actually are stopping them. We're stopping China from getting oil from Iran because good reason number one, we're stopping it. We're affecting regime change. Can you believe it? We're doing all of these good things, man. Okay. Number one is we are literally stopping the evil bad guys from oppressing women and making them wear trash bags. Number two, we are literally stopping China and Russia, who are the ultimate evil in the world, according to what, China is pretty shitty. But they're the ultimate evil in the world, and we are stopping Iran from giving them oil because no, we're not. We have choked them off in the Persian Gulf. So what? You don't think they have trucks? You don't think they can use the Caspian Sea? You don't think that they can fly this shit over there in these big, what do you think they're doing? You don't think they've built a pipeline? It probably runs all the way through Afghanistan at this point because we have left Afghanistan and we know logistically what is going on over there, but we can't do anything about it. But if you think for 1 second that this administration or any other administration is going to tell you that that's happening, no. Trump will announce that at some point, but he's going to blame crooked Hillary. And that's an easy person to blame because she's an evil piece of shit. Regardless of whether you believe in Frazzle Trip or not. She's an evil piece of shit. So he can literally go, oh, well, crooked Hillary and, Benghazi and blah, blah, blah. And everybody's just going to go along with it that likes him and thinks he's a great guy. He's the best we got. I got to say that. But what is the alternative, right? Douchebags, turd sandwich. But the fact of the matter is we are not stopping them from selling oil to China. And second of all, China doesn't need their freaking oil because here's the map again. Here's the map again. Do you know how much oil comes from these countries right in here? A lot. There is a lot of oil that comes from all of these places. The problem is that the average American, I saw this the other day, has an IQ of like 89 or some shit. Now, granted, we are being dumbed down by mass immigration. So that is a big problem. That makes people a lot dumber. People don't like to hear that. They're like, oh, that sounds horrible when you say it that way. Well, would you rather me lie and say something else? I can't make my screen bigger here. I'm trying to do this. Hold on 1 second. Oh well. So here's the thing. If you have a regime that's in power, whether it's Republican, Democrat, whatever, and they go to war with their mommy that tells them what to do, which is Israel's, they're our mommy. They bitch slap us and tell us what to do. Are you seriously going to tell me that you're going to be given all the facts? No. But look at how many right-wing conservative dumbasses right now are absolutely going along with the stupidest narratives I've ever seen in my entire existence. Folks, just because Trump is doing it doesn't mean it's good. It doesn't mean that it's right, and it doesn't mean that it's going to benefit us in any fucking way. This is the worst scenario we could have ever done. Why? Why are we doing this? Oh, well, we got regime change, and hey, they're not going to be able to give oil to these other countries because, yes, they are, and the next regime could be more militaristic and less Islamic. Meaning that, yeah, it sucks that Islam is a shit dog turd, whatever. It is what it is. I stand by what I say. But what about if you end up with another Saddam, a real one, not a puppet that was once controlled by the United States, but one that was fed on hatred for the United States from birth? What if this person is in their 40s and their entire life they have been taught hate America propaganda? And it's not really necessarily propaganda. And this person probably pays lip service to Islam because that's the ethno-state, Islamic ethno-state, whatever. But the fact of the matter is they could really give a shit about it. But they want power. And this person is like Cobra Commander. Because that's what's going to happen now. Because who is running the country now that they killed this old geezer, this old Islamic fuck? Who's running the country? One of the military people. And guess what's going to happen? Durka. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, halal. Yeah, fuck you. We're going to put that on the back burner right now and all this other bullshit that you're doing. We don't really care. I am going to blow the world up. Why not? You've already launched missiles at us. If they manage to knock over an aircraft carrier, we're going to end up with boots on the ground. Yeah, it's his son until it's not. Is his son going to be able to stop the military people? We don't know. I personally think that if his son comes to power and he's okay with everything, he was in on it. You're not dealing with the most stable people. Anybody who's that deep and entrenched in Islam is going to have problems. And now they've unleashed a mad dog on the world once again because they got to have a world of their own. The Nile to the Euphrates. And now that brings you up to speed on Iran. Good things, bad things. And you're entitled to your opinion, Rain. I'm sorry I didn't mean to use you as you're a very dear friend, and you are also a good person, and you are the co-host of our other show, True Crime Paranormal. So I don't want to make her mad. She's not somebody you want to piss off, believe me. But yeah. She's trying to find a good thing in this. And there are a few small good things. But in the big scheme of things, it's like spitting in the ocean. You're not really stopping them from getting oil. The thing in Venezuela was a lot more heavy than this. So that's the thing right there. That is the Iran war. What we need to do is we need to write a book called The Talmud for Dummies. And give it to all the boomers, because if the best thing you could do in your community right now is go to all the boomers of voting age and give them the Talmud translated. Talmud is different than the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah is the one that all these satanic pedophiles out in Hollywood are running around. They're part of it. Talmud is actually sort of it is what's called the hidden Torah. It's the revealed Torah, hidden Torah, whatever it's how it's translated. And then that's the Talmud. The Kabbalah is the esoteric Torah. It is the spiritual Torah. Although I got to say, neither one of them really have shit to do with the Torah. It's just an excuse because they know that those first 5 books of the Bible, for them, is 7 books, but it's 5. That makes dumbass Christians go, okay, you earthly inheritance and they're the God's people and derpa. I saw a guy walking down the street the other day. He's walking his dog. He's an old puttering around old fool. I say that because of his shirt. And it says, I stand with Israel. And I walked by and I was like, you like paying taxes too? Huh? I said, your shirt, you like paying taxes. You like that they take all of our money. Why did I get the hell out? He does me like that. I'm like, hey man, by the way, I'm a conservative though. I'm just telling you, but I'm really super conservative. Like way conservative. Like the way you're supposed to really be. Like I believe in God and everything. Right? I believe in God too. No, you don't. You believe in Moloch. What are you talking about? Your shirt, sir. It says you stand with Israel. That means that you stand with Moloch, Purim, and all the sacrifices and all the other crazy and all the taxes we pay them. I was like, congratulations, sir. You seem like a nice Satanist. You know what the hell I was talking about. Get away from me and my white dog, you bastard.
Your damn kids.
You probably have black friends, you son of a bitch. I'm like, yeah.
Running around with them Mexicans too.
You got me there, sir. You got me. So I went and I got on the phone with all of my black friend and I told him, every one of them.
Daggum half-breed. All this mixing.
So I actually have a lot of black friends, but I have a lot of Hispanic friends. I have a lot of Arab friends, and I actually have Jewish friends. And I have Jewish friends that absolutely agree with me and believe that this is the fucked up thing. They're not all bad. There's Jewish people who absolutely 100% know what's going on. And Messianic Jewish people, I really feel bad for them because they are oppressed as hell. You know why? Because they believe in Christ. The most oppressed people on earth are probably Messianic Jews because other Jewish people hate them. And it is actually a good thing for them to kill them because not only are they Christians, and that's a good thing for them to kill Christians, but they are traitors. They're just like Jesus. They call him Isis, the one who was hanged. Go look at it, the Talmud. We really need to write this book, The Talmud for Dummies. Let's pass it out at all the old people functions where they are able to vote. And read it to them. Maybe just sit down and start reading it to them and just go through. I will put next when we do a video, I will do something about the Talmud and I'll read to you passages from it. And you tell me what you think. Would you still be involved with these people and think that they're great people if you really knew the truth? Probably not. But some people are what we call. What was that? They have the what? Beware of the retardation. It is horrible. The retardation of our nation. I'm going to stand with Israel because you know why? Fuck America. We got what we wanted. I worked 28 days and bought a house. I sold candy bars door to door for 28 days and I bought my house. What did you do, you young whippersnapper shithead? Get a job and work 40 hours a week for 3 years like I did. And work hard. And you'll have a house too. No, I won't, Grandpa, because, you know, the people you fought World War II for. Wait, you didn't do it. Sorry. If you're a millennial, you have to tell them, look, great grandpa did it. You guys fucked around. And now you inherited the greatest economy the world had ever seen. And you're going to tell us who we should vote for because ABC, CBS, and NBC were the only game in town for a long time until cable came along. What a grand invention that was. And then you got 50 more channels of more shit that all came from the Zog, the Zionist occupied government. And that gave you the right to go and tell everybody else how to live. We've done really good for ourselves. We've paid taxes and we've helped them blow up Iraq, Syria, now Iran. We help them blow up all of the bad guys, the Hamas, the Hezbollahs, the Hezbollahs, the Hezbollahs, the Sheballahs, the, you know, every mullah, every bullah, every kind of rolla. We've blown them up. We've blown up Lebanon. We've blown them all to hell. And it gave us this massive, great debt that we are in. Congratulations. Now, if you leave me alone, I'm watching Fox. This just in on Fox. This just in. I'm getting a report here. Okay, really? Okay. So literally what we've just heard is the enemies of God. What is it again? Okay, yes. I just got confirmation that Israel has killed all the enemies of God. You are welcome, Christians. You are welcome. What is it again? Bibi Netanyahu, the God of this world, has just said that he will continue to fight until the last American. What a patriot he is. At least he dies a real non-American. He's landed in Germany, the site of the horribleness that happened to his people. Oh, the irony. But he knows he's safe there, right? He's safe. He's safe. Because guess what? Gold Grandpappy went and fought and he kicked their ass, those Nazis. And every one of them liberated camps. Because you lying motherfuckers, no, you didn't. And you know why I know this? Because every step of my life has been an education. And one of the educations I learned from my grandpappy when he would go to the VFW hall because he fought with Patton and was like, bullshit, you didn't. You didn't see that. You're lying ass mother effer. My grandpa would call him out on it. And I saw old men playing dominoes go, oh, okay. And I was like, yeah. I get in the truck with my grandpa and I'm like, Papa, what is that? They're lying. All these old bastards are lying. They all want to have a story. I liberated camps. No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. They wanted to come back and be heroes. Nobody talks about how they stuffed 3 million German soldiers into an open field and let them die. Or how the Ukrainian people died by the hands of the NKVD in the Soviet Union, the Holodomor. Millions of people died. 60 million people. The Christians murdered, slaughtered. Nobody gives a shit because the God of this world, who is their God, is opposed to Christ, who is the Son of my God, who says in Revelations 2:9 and 3:9, you suffer unto those who claim they're Jews and they are not. They really are fake. They're not real. They claim from the house of David and they are not. Jesus is like, I'm from the house of David. And what does Paul tell us? Paul tells us once you become a Christian, you're accepted by, you accept Christ, you're grafted in, you were Israel. That runs anathema to what they say. It's an earthly inheritance. So they created with Ben Gurion and Golda Meir and all these other shitheads, they created a fake ethno-state, political state of Israel to fleece the dumb Christians that they would feed, brainwash, steady brainwash, Zog bullshit, right? Keep on teaching them, make them grow up believing all of the bullshit. And get all of the televangelists on board too that make tons and tons and tons of money and fly them down to the Holy Land and wine and dine them and give them big, massive checks. They get paid to keep you stupid. John Hagee. Man, there's a place just waiting in hell for him. These people, they do what they do. I had the education at an early age, thanks to my grandfather who told me the truth. And they planted a seed that never went away. He's long gone. He died years ago in the early 90s. But he planted a seed that I'll never forget. And he always told me, do not believe the media. He said, they get up there and they lie. It was weird. I never understood if he was a Democrat or Republican. And then I figured it out. He wasn't either.
He's too smart to be either.
He was too smart. He hated Jimmy Carter. He thought he was weak and he was a stupid ass. Jimmy Carter. But you know one thing about old Jimmy Carter? He was a good guy. He really was. He was a good man. He tried to talk sense into a senseless society. Can't do that, Jimmy. You're too nice. And Richard Nixon, his downfall was that he was too curious. Have you listened to the Nixon tapes? We're going to talk about that here on this channel too. Just think about it though. This is the opening salvo, and I'm just giving you a little bit of a sampler platter of what we're going to talk about. We're going to get into the Nixon tapes. Why the hell am I surrounded by all these Bohemian Grove? It's the faggotiest thing I've ever seen in my life. YouTube will probably take this video down, and I don't give a shit. We'll just take it to Rumble if we have to, because we just need the audience to see what's going on. And then when you see what's going on, the pen is not actually made of rubber. See? We got rid of the regime. We started an entire war to give them the right to wear skirts. Really? Because you could have just, we're the Black Widows, fear throughout the land. Really? Because most people I know just step on them and squish them. It's common sense. I didn't think about that. I did. It's bad. Oh, shit. You know what? We're the scorpions. We're fear. Yeah, you know what? We could actually kill them too. Watch. Right there with the flip-flop. Okay, you know what? We're the snakes. Snakes fear throughout the land. Oh yeah, I could take care of them too. Check it out, Garden Oak. Damn, you got me. People aren't as stupid as they used to be, but then in some ways they're getting dumber. Turn off the damn television. For first of all, stop watching all this garbage. Let's watch a show. Let's watch a show, folks. You know what? There's a new show out about King Henry VIII. Let's see what he's doing. What is King Henry VIII doing? Let's turn on the TV, the Zog box. Yo, man, you better get your ass over here, ho. I ain't bullshitting with you. I'm King Henry VIII, bitch. Shit. I'm over here trying to eat my chicken. I like churches, ho. Why you bring me this bullshit? It's good to be the king. Hell, all my damn hoes.
Off with that bitch head right
Off
now.
with that bitch head right now. You better throw that bitch in the dungeon, hoe ass. Jeez. History's really changed since I was young. I remembered him being a white guy. I don't know what the hell. Let's see what Shaka Zulu comes out. He goes like, yes, Woody Allen is Shaka Zulu. Here it is right here. Yes, folks. Actually, I got this spear. I'm gonna invade Shukaka. What a strange name that is, folks. I don't know. What is my motivation to attack this man, though? I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Shaka Zulu's son. What is his name? Hakara Waka. What? I'm Jeff Goldblum here. I'm just going to be Shaka Zulu's son. We aren't necessarily black, but due to we need to integrate. We all are one. We're all one. We're all together in this. We're going to invade Iran together. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And now I appear to be Shaka Zulu's son. Yes. That is happening. Look at my army behind me. They are a mixed cultural army. And we're going to invade some other people in South Africa. Okay. Jiminy crickets. What in the hell is going on? I'm Snow White. Why don't you come to hang out with me? Eh? Come on, Doris. Why don't you come and lay down on my bed? Huh? Ay, Snow White. What the is this the Latino channel? What in the show? It's Netflix. Fuck. I thought it was weird. And then Beauty and the Beast, and they have like some woman on there, and she's like rubbing on some, oxen. I love you, Beast. Yes. Ah, what in the hell am I watching here?
Saxophone music playing.
I've been feeling fine. The oxen's like,
Never gonna dance again.
dancing feet ain't got no rhythm. They're like, what is this? Now to Dances with Wolves, the remake. They come out to Belly Dancer. Yes. The finest Turkish women to be, Kevin Costner. And the wolves, they're just demons. She's just dancing around with demons. We already got Tom Cruise as the Last Samurai. And then eventually they'll make a documentary, Khrushchev, or what's his name? I saw a thing where they were talking about Gorbachev, right? And I thought, what better actor to play him than Lawrence Fishburne? I gotta say something to you fools. This communism shit ain't gonna work. It's only gonna go so far. That wall gotta come down. You think I'm playing? Man, I'm getting tired of this shit. I'm over here sweating. Is America gonna bomb us? Or we gonna bomb America? I don't know what's gonna happen over here. I'm Russian. And you're like, no, you're not. I don't understand what the fuck is going on, dude. I don't understand this. Then we'll have my friend, all right. I'm the Emperor of China over here. I'm from the second Dan Dynasty. But you know what, though? I'm more than the second. I'm the third and the fourth dynasty. I'm all of them together. You know what I mean? I am China. I run this shit. All you mother effer, let's go kill these Mongolians over here. All right. The people around them, they're all like, what the fuck? You better be smiling. You're my light. Wang Fu, you're my light. I am the Emperor of China. I am the dragon. This is what we're watching on TV. Right? I was watching the Serpent Queen until they introduced her brother. Ha ha ha.
Oh, yeah.
He comes on, I'm your brother, ho. Shit. I'm your brother. She's like, oh, yes, it's my brother from Italy. What the fuck? Where did he even come from? I got that Moorish blood in me. He's as black as my shirt. I'm like, really? Because I don't think so. He's a Medici, right? somehow somebody brought back a Moorish child, and well, he just got a little too much sun, and this is all bullshit. I'm a Zulu warrior. Yes, I'm a Zulu. I'm Shaka. It's my brother Kaka and my son Dudu. They're gonna make a documentary about Nobunaga, right? Who's gonna play Nobunaga? Let me see. Jackie Chan. No, wait, he's too close to the real thing. We got to get somebody. Who can we get to play
Dave Chappelle.
Nobunaga? Dave Chappelle. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm getting real tired of this bullshit with this feudal lords and stuff. I can't do it. Y'all gave me this whole bento box. I can't eat all of it. I got to do something. I'm gonna go throw some ashes on my dad's grave and start some shit. We're about to invade. The Kakaruka clan has been just kukumaka. I can't deal with this shit. Folks, it's getting hot in here. Let's take off all our clothes. Don't. Man, that Nobunaga documentary he knocked it out of the park. You know, him and Tom Green, I tell you what, they were the best. I mean, it was good. I laughed. I cried. I laughed some more.
Tom Green is Toyotomi.
Because I keep this is we're done with it. No more skits. We're good. We'll be funny. This is the world we live in, and your children grow up, and you ask them about people, the immortals, and they were just like, "I love that movie about the Greeks and all that stuff," and you know, and then there was an NBA basketball player they called the Greek Freak or whatever, and he was some black dude that was like 7'10" or something.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, where is the Greek guy? Well, that's him. He's Greek.
Is he standing behind the 7-foot tall Zulu?
I'm like, that is not a Greek person. That is, yeah, he's Greek. If he's Greek, then I'm from the Vatican. I'm the Pope. I'm the Pope. Yeah. Right? What is this? This is nonsense. This is bullshit. This is make-believe. We are living in the land of bullshit make-believe. Who is behind it? Who's doing all this crap? The old people, this is the boomers. They're like, who is making all of this shit? I'm so confused. The damn liberals. I hate these liberal leftist shithills that are making this bullshit. The credits roll. Goldberg, Ginsburg, Heidelberg, Iceberg. Right? Goldman, Silverman, Copperman.
That's all the Democrats.
Michael Steen, Jekyllstein, Hicklestein, Picklestein, Ficklestein, and a Steen, here's Steen, there's Steen, everywhere, Steen. No, he started dancing. The joke's on you. All right. And then you're going like, yeah, let me tell you something, Papa. Every name on there is actually Berg or Steen or whatever. You know, those are actually people there. Who are they? Liberals? No. They're actually those are Jewish names. Oh, well, in that case, I like this garbage. Well, yeah, but don't you think it's not really correct? I mean, you're on the right, right? You're conservative, and they're God's people. We gotta, if they want to fight a war and make every man wear a dress, we'll do it, by golly. When I was at the Chosin Reservoir, and the man got out of hand and started acting a fool, you know what we'd do? We'd bend him over a tree and put Vaseline in his booty hole, and we'd take care of him real good.
Go to town and learn him something he'll never forget.
This is how we dealt with these plum Nancys.
All is fair.
They gave us a handbook about it.
Love and war, everything's fair.
A Yiddish rabbi came out and told us, this is how we dealt with dissenters. I'm okay with this. As long as these people, they're the smart people and they're in charge. I get it. But the Talmud says that Jesus is boiling in feces and Mary was a whore. Who is this Talmud? What is he talking about? Well, it's a book, Grandpa, and it says horrible things about Jesus Christ. Who wrote this? A liberal? Something like that. Yeah, kind of. But it was written by a group of people who actually created liberals. Kind of. But they also created you. What do you mean? God created me. Well, no, these people don't actually believe in God as in we believe in God. So, it's a funny thing. They actually worship Satan. What? Yes, they are actually satanic. Seriously, literally satanic. You have any proof of this? I got this book right here. They look at the book. I don't know. They close it, throw it over their shoulder. I don't know about all that. Where's the proof? I don't hear Fox News saying this. Dun! Hold on, grandson. There's a new update. We have a new update here on Fox. Okay, so the devil has actually been killed in Iran. We've killed the devil. I'm getting, what is this again? Okay, so our correspondent on the ground, literally in Tehran, he's over there. There's missiles behind him. Yes, I'm in Tehran where they have just killed the devil. Grandpa's like, yes, we killed a devil for the 50th time. But unfortunately, the super devil, yes, you heard that correctly. The super devil has showed up, and now all hell is breaking loose, literally. I'm about to die. This is Tom Hankman signing off. Oh, he's such a nice guy. He's got the name almost like Tom Hanks, that wonderful actor from, what was it called? Saving Ryan's Privates. That was a great movie. I did that shit. I liberated camps. You're like, Grandpa, you said you were in the Chosen Reservoir. That was in Korea. Yeah, I did that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Grandpa, I think you're full of shit. I think you fucked up our economy. How about that? Turn off the Fox News, Gramps. What in the hell kind of devil has gotten into you? Tom Newman over here is talking. Yes, so the super devil has now lashed out at all of the allies of God's people. They are attacking everyone who's God's people, including you, Grandpa, because they have created satanic Islamic robots that will come and eat your medication. Back to you. Did you hear that? Timmy? My name's not Timmy, it's John. No, I don't care, but Timmy, I'm going to tell you something. Wheel me over to my medicine cabinet. Fox News just said that the satanic robots are coming, Islamic, whatever. They're going to eat my medication. What the fuck am I going to do?
Damn Islamic liberals.
This is Islamic liberal commie fuckers. I thought of my whole life. You're like, actually, Grandpa, you didn't even go in the military. I looked up your records. Damn you, shut up. Everybody my age was in the military. We all fought. And we took care of business. We did.
You'd be speaking German if it wasn't for us.
You'd be a Nazi. Suchenstiefel. Sounds like a pastry. I don't know what the fuck it is. That's what they told me. If it wasn't for me, take me to my medication. I don't want the Islamic robots eating it. And then the other hand, you got the other side over there. Doris, did you hear? They just announced on CNN, Islamic robots are going to eat our medication. They hate women. I don't know what to do. It was on CNN. Oh, no, don't believe that. Islamic people don't do anything bad. Those are white supremacists. White supremacists are actually coming to eat your medication and burn your Bibles. Oh, the damn white supremacists again. When are they going to learn to stop attacking God's people? I'm so sick. Every corner has a white supremacist.
Swarms and hordes of
There's
them
hordes
everywhere.
of these skinheads, although they don't have skin, they don't have shaved heads, but they're still, they said that on CNN that every murderer and everyone who's ever done anything bad was a skinhead, but they grew their hair out. And this Josh Turner, he's a horrible one. He is a true skinhead. He's a Mexican skinhead. He's got a Spanish word right there on his chest. It means Satan. Doris, you better get out of there. The robots are coming. CNN just said. Bing! We have another update. This is Guy Blackman over here from CNN. I got to tell you, I am a black man, but I am harmless. I will not rob you. I will not steal from you. I am a good one. a credit to my race. But anyways, white supremacists are marching through the streets to burning houses and destroying everything, screaming death to Israel. We have got to stop them, folks. White and black and Latino have to come together to destroy the enemies of God, literally. Right? Guy Blackman signing off for CNN. Holy shit, the world is on fire, Timmy. What are you doing? You're over there like South Park. You're like Stan and Kyle. Oh, you're so stupid. Yeah. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What the fuck do we do? You got the white supremacists and the Islamic extremists, robots eating medication. We are just, there's explosions everywhere. I was at the Arby's and there was somebody in the bathroom and I heard the loudest explosion. Splash, splash. I was hearing the war in Iran in my head. Bombs dropping like turds hitting the water. These are the days of our lives. This is the soup that they've created for us to drink, the goy slop, if you will. What are we going to do? Holy shit, what are we going to do? I've trained my cats. My cats are now training my dogs. My dogs will train the ferrets, and the ferrets will train the gerbils, and so on and so forth, and the hamsters. And there will be an entire army at my house full of weapons of mass destruction used by animals. Because I can't trust the people. Look at who I live with. Look at that. Look at that guy. Does that guy look like, he looks like an Islamic terrorist. Look at him. He's an insurgent if I ever saw one.
Allahu Akbar, inshallah, mashallah.
Halak balak, good like a ducka. Open your Quran. Open the book. Open the book. Indiana, you must open the book. I'm trying to. I got my whip. I'm half Jewish. I can kick anyone's ass. I'm tough Jews. Tough. Adam Sandler. Shut up. Every movie he's ever made. Billions of dollars. Guy's amazing. Let's talk about making pizza. And Jennifer used to be a Maniston over there. Oh, I love pizza. Let's eat pizza. And little Ellen DeGeneres. Let's do it. Let's eat pizza. Yeah. Little goblin bitch. Gobbling it up. This is the shit that is on our TV, the shite on the television, This is why I trained men to beat the shit out of people for years. Because I couldn't look at TV. I sleep 5 hours a day. And I train people to beat the shit out of people. And I didn't watch TV because I couldn't stand it. And I had some of my guys I used to train back in the day. They would tell me, they'd be like, Wolf, why do you train like a man possessed? Why do you? Because I don't want to think about the world and what's in it and what's become of it. And I told people there is a reality that we are in that is overlaid by the black cube. And Rain just said the Mecca is literally the black cube. And they're dancing around it. They're running around it. There's even a video where they show them running around the cube, and they do that. What's it, Timmy Trumpet?
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. The base and the tweeters make Islam go to war. Bunch of stupid fools. Let the bodies hit the floor. Just get fucked. All right. Don't have a dog. The Prophet Muhammad said, "You cannot have a dog." I sounded more like a samurai, but you get what I'm saying, right? Really, because my fist going through your chest says something different. Do you know the story behind that? I'm going to tell that on this show too. I will tell you. I will do an episode and I will tell you and where to find the information. How Muhammad actually came to not like dogs. Because the angel Jibril didn't go there because there was a dog. Only a fallen angel would not go somewhere because of a dog. Or was that really what was going on? Because he was supposed to meet a male that was very beautiful. There's a whole story behind it, man. Oh no, he did a lot of things. He didn't just marry little children. He had a guy that he was really close with. They worked together very closely. I mean, the angel Jabril pretended to be this guy so they could meet in secret together. Just it's the whole thing. You're sitting there going like, really? Yeah. He thought the Catholics were bad. This is it, folks. This is the real reality. This is where you're at. This is it. Pop out of the Jack in the Box. Woohoo! Welcome to the real reality. This is not, though. This is the black cube overlaid reality. And if you keep watching long enough, you'll probably wake the hell up and go, where the F am I? And you'll probably want to unplug. Exactly, Christian. What a name, Christian. Cool. It's my nephew's name. The dog was going to attack the demon. I know my dogs are like that. My dogs growl at shit and go after it. That's because that's what dogs and cats do. You're not dealing with the best and brightest. They're like, a cat will never walk on a Quran. I literally put a Quran down and I had my cats walk all over it. I said, that doesn't work.
Start peeing on it.
They don't care. One of my cats actually laid on it. I did that to prove a point to one of my friends who's Islamic. I just said, I don't really believe that. Oh, man, your cats are possessed. They are possessed of the devil, of the jinn. No, they're not. His name's Martis. He's actually pretty chill. He just wants some food and, well, he just wants to be left the fuck alone and not eaten. And my dogs, they're not chasing after angels. They just want to eat and go outside and play catch. But if you come to my house and you knock on my door wearing a bed sheet with the little hat that you wear, the little goofy shit thing you wear, and you say, brother here, Brother Turner, you must take your dog with the haram. I'm going to go, hey, come on inside. I'm going to grab you and I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you some more bed sheets. You like bed sheets? I'll give you some bed sheets. How about that? Because my dogs will stay. You will go. How about that? This is not your land. And I am not your friend. You see this shirt? That means not welcome, fucker. How about that? Go and fight your war against the devils down there where you are, where you're from. I don't want you as a refugee. I don't give a shit about you. I don't give a fuck about Israel. And you can all go straight to hell, which is where you go. When they die, they go to hell. Do you know that? That's where they go. Sorry, not sorry. Watch Gangs of New York. Because Leonardo DiCaprio, the little fuckhead that he is, he's not the good guy in that movie. He's a dickhead. I hate him. And I hated his character. No offense to the Irish. The Irish bug bastards. I love my Irish people. They're being swarmed right now by people from Africa. Did you know that? And by the same token, you know, if you go to Africa, there's hordes and hordes of Indian and Chinese people there. Do you think this is normal? Do you think that that's correct? Or why does every African country have a bunch of Nigerian Muslims in it? Because they're trying to take over. They're called the Fulani. And they murder Christians by the buttload. And nobody says shit. This is the problem, isn't it? But we're going to get into all this. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm going to bounce. I love you guys. I hope to see you on all of our other channels. This video will probably be taken down, and I don't really give a shit.
I'll have to download it pretty soon.
Yeah.
As soon as I finish the processing.
We'll download it, and we'll keep it around, and we'll stick it right on Rumble. Alrighty then. I'm not really Jim Carrey. I'm dead. Clones. All right, guys. We've had a great time. We love you. Thank you for tuning in to an episode of Random Files. Those subjects I talked about, we're going to get into those. We're going to do shows, and we're going to start off talking about whatever. Who knows where it'll go? But that's a sample of what needs to be talked about. All of these subjects, taking deep dives, going into the truth of the real reality and the far reality that they have saddled us with. Don't be deceived. Don't be not deceived. It might have been a little too real for some people. I'm sorry if it was. But this is the world we're living in. Reagan, JFK, Nixon, these are presidents that started asking too many questions, and what happened to them? I'm going to get into what they did to Ronald Reagan. I'm going to get into what they did to JFK, and I'm going to get into what they did to Richard Nixon. I'm going to tell you what happens to presidents who don't play ball. And then we'll talk about those that did and do. We're going to talk about everything. Why is there no gold in Fort Knox? Did you know that there's no gold in Fort Knox? You probably didn't, did you? Anyways, folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We love you. I'll see you. Good night.